The Moonrise anime is cooking. It's as simple as that. If you're not familiar, Moonrise is a brand new 18-episode anime made by Wit Studio that just came out on Netflix a few days ago as of this recording. Now, if Wit Studios sounds familiar, that's because it probably is. They're behind the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan, which if you haven't seen, take my word for it, this is one of the best shows ever made. Wit Studio is also behind Vinland Saga, which I can also assure you is a fantastic story. And they also did Spy X Family, which I haven't seen, but it's wildly popular. But okay, back to Wit Studio's newest project, Moonrise. It's a sci-fi story with outer space futuristic elements, which makes for a pretty unique final product. Personally, I've never seen anything like this show. In the Moonrise universe, basically you got your regular people living on Earth, but society has advanced way further and way faster than ours due to an artificial intelligence called Sapientia. This AI actually kind of controls the world, but not in a scary robots turning against humanity type of way. This AI actually maintains world peace through its policies. One of its main policies, among others, was the Moon Reclamation Project, which, to make a long story short, this basically sent all of Earth's criminals to live on the moon. It's kind of crazy, and of course it led to problems down the line. The main problem being the people of the moon starting a revolution against the Earth. They wanted to be independent and rise above the Earth's control, hence the name Moonrise. This revolution is led by Bob Skylum, otherwise known as the Moon Devil. Gotta say, so far he's a pretty cool antagonist, but the story follows protagonist Jacob Shadow, or Jack. He's basically a guy from Earth who's got a score to settle against the people of the moon. He's part of a special team within the Earth's army, and their goal is Bob Skylum's head, and effectively the end of the revolution. There's obviously a lot more to the story, but that's kind of a brief synopsis without giving away too much. So once again, we got 18 episodes out right now. At the time of this recording, I'm only 6 episodes in, but I gotta say I'm enticed. I want to see how this story unfolds. Compared to the shows I've watched previously, Moonrise is completely unique. The Earth versus the Moon thing sounds so simple, but in practice, it's a fantastic plotline. The show does a great job at building the stakes and making you care for the Earth, and then it also makes you care for the Moon. Jack, as the protagonist, works pretty well. He's sort of the talented guy who doesn't really care, he doesn't fully apply himself, easily distracted on the mission, that type of thing. But as the story progresses, we learn more about his character, and let's just say things are getting interesting. There are some mysteries surrounding his past. He kind of gets wrongly framed for an attack against the Earth. I mean, some crazy stuff is going on. But now let's talk about the optics. This anime has gorgeous animation. It's just what I would want from an anime dealing with space. You get some beautiful scenes of the Earth from outer space, the moon with its advancements. I mean, this show is a pleasure to look at. And the fighting system here is definitely fun. I'm not going to lie, I don't fully understand it yet, but from what I can see, you got highly advanced tech, which can transform into different weapons, but that's honestly just scratching the surface. Every fight has been entertaining so far, and you just sort of wonder in what creative ways are they going to use these abilities moving forward. Now, maybe I've convinced you to give it a try by this point, and if so, I'm glad. For some reason, this anime feels a little bit underground. Maybe that's not the right word, but it feels like nobody's talking about this show, which is strange. The way I see it, this should be a pretty big release within the anime world. I mean, Wit Studio's next big project on Netflix, insane animation, really cool futuristic outer space vibes, but no, the hype just isn't there. And forget about hype. A lot of anime fans probably haven't even heard of Moonrise. I think this comes down to the advertising. Netflix just didn't do a great job of advertising, I think. I mean, dog, this is insane. Ryoma Kawamura, sorry if I mispronounced, he's a producer at Wit Studio, and he literally begged Netflix to do any kind of advertising for the show at all. That is crazy. I don't really know when he did this, but the show's out, and there wasn't much advertising, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say it didn't really work, which is a shame. I think a show that in some ways is connected to at least 2 masterpieces should be getting a decent spotlight. And I mean, it's one thing if the show is bad, and we all know the show is bad, but it's pretty good so far. So I don't know, that's just a little weird to me, but my general opinions so far are very positive. The only negative thing I can bring up is at certain points it can feel a bit confusing. Now, maybe that's just me, maybe I gotta lock in while watching, but I feel like certain instances, I wouldn't say were hard to follow, but they left me thinking like, wait, what? or wait, where are we again? Like that type of thing. And this isn't a huge deal because I feel like every show can give you that confused feeling to a degree, and I'm sure if I continue watching, it'll make more sense. And let's face it, Moonrise, the whole concept is pretty complex. I mean, you got your people on the Earth, you got people on the moon, very advanced technology, militaries, strategies. Like, it's gonna get confusing. So that's not a huge red flag for me. I'd say for where I'm at right now in the show, the standout character is Jack. If you've watched Attack on Titan, we've basically got a season 1 Eren Yeager on our hands. Kind of. Like, he wants to kill Bob Skylum very badly, just like Eren wanted to slaughter all the Titans. Another standout character is Bob Skylum. You know, if you're gonna be leading the Moon Revolution, the Moonrise, you gotta be a cool character, and so far his abilities are extremely unique. And then there's that one scene where he activates his arm. I mean, this is some crazy animation. But going back to Jack, I already mentioned he's got some mysteries surrounding his past. To go more in depth there, he's from the moon. His parents on Earth are his adoptive parents, and we get flashback scenes of him on the moon with other kids. He's got a childhood best friend named Phil, who we think is dead and gone until we see him again. Right now, I still haven't reached their reunion, which I assume is coming soon. So yeah, overall, I gotta say, this is a great show so far. I would definitely recommend you give it a try. Probably by the time I upload this video, I'll be done with the series or very close to being done. I definitely want to know your thoughts if you've watched Moonrise, whether you finished it, whether you're a few episodes in like me. What do you think so far? For a long time, I wanted to see like an anime that dealt with outer space, and I know they exist, but when I was scrolling through TikTok and I stumbled upon someone talking about Moonrise, I was like, wow, this pretty much checks every box of space anime that I wanted. So that's why I decided to give it a try. But yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.